At its best moments, A Simple Favor actually reminds me of A Place in the Sun, which, if you're at all familiar with that movie, is pretty darn high praise. And if you're not familiar with it, allow me to take a moment to familiarize you. So, A Place in the Sun is a Hollywood classic, one of the most famous melodramas of all time. Also about an average person envying a better life with a murder at a picturesque lake. That moment is actually when it struck me what the movie was reminding me of. I was like, oh my God, it's A Place in the Sun. And that movie stars some of Hollywood's most famous actors, and it's from the incredibly talented director-producer George Stevens. But alas, Paul Feig proves to be no George Stevens. And in the third act, A Simple Favor goes embarrassingly off the rails, with moments so cringe, including a jarringly unfunny line from Andrew Rannells, who's normally hilarious. Like, for instance, I didn't know he was in this movie, so when I saw him in the opening credits, I was like, oh boy! And then I was like, oh no. He doesn't have that big of a role anyway. And then there's like a what happened to everyone, like writing on the screen. And I'm like half embarrassed to say, like they do at the end of all the seasons of Real Housewives, right? Those moments are, again, so bad that it's shocking to me that if Paul Feig didn't have the sense to cut them, that he wasn't overridden by the studio. So many people had to sign off on these moments. I can't believe that they did. But the first 2/3 of the movie are such a trashy, guilty pleasure. Again, Real Housewives. Although this does seem like a movie, I'll address that. And there are occasional perfect moments that harken back to old Hollywood. So A Simple Favor might actually end up doing okay anyway. You know, maybe moderately at the box office, or maybe even not that well. But I think, again, we have ourselves a streaming hit. Although I have to say, even once the movie is over, it's interesting. Like, I wrote in my notes, like, and you've sat through the horrible ending, feeling embarrassed for having liked it at all. That's how I felt when the movie ended. You know, I've told you before that if you're going to have only some good moments in your movie, have them at the beginning so people feel invested, and then have them at the end so they leave the theater feeling good. But this movie, since its worst moments are at the end, you leave with a bad taste in your mouth. But, you know, thinking about it now as I'm talking to you, I really did think that the first 2/3 of the movie were good. So I can't be that hard on it. And without a doubt, the movie is a tremendous calling card for Anna Kendrick. Like, seriously, her management should send this to everybody. And she does, I think this is her best work yet, and I would say she's playing a millennial Jessica Fletcher. And that's a pitch right there, by the way. Not the pitch I think that sounds like a TV pitch, is why they probably didn't go with it. And Kendrick, though, she is given a juicy mystery. And it's bizarre enough, by the way, that even though we aren't allowed to figure it out with her, that usually really annoys me. I'm like, let me play along. I want to figure it out too. But it's so juicy and so bizarre that it was not only intriguing to watch everything unfold, but I really enjoyed seeing her character blossom as she did the legwork. That was cool too. Although I have to also point out that it was revealed that her character has done something rather awful in her past. And it's to Kendrick's credit as a talented, likable actress that the audience can still root for her after that is revealed. It was pretty bad. I don't think it's actually indefensible, to be honest with you. But for some reason I was like, you know what? It's in the past. All right, so then as for Henry Golding, coming off of Crazy Rich Asians, and Blake Lively, they are extremely well cast in their roles, even if their characters aren't as well or as believably constructed as Kendrick's. But occasionally, the movie asks them to step out of their comfort zones as actors, and they simply can't step up to the plate, producing some more cringe moments. And there's like elements of their I don't want to give anything away, but there are elements of their backstory that when you think about it, you're like, that doesn't make any sense. But actually, there's a pivot. I don't want to give anything away again, but there's a pivotal moment in the beginning of their relationship that takes place on an airplane that I didn't understand how his character could get past, quite frankly. I mean, I guess I could, but I don't think the movie did a good job selling us on that. So there were things like that would occasionally take you out. And again, that was towards the end. So I was already like, I'm watching this movie. Also, a friend of mine pointed out that Blake Lively's wardrobe is just an exaggerated version of what Paul Feig likes to wear, so I can't think of her character the same way after that, because that's totally what it is. But I also have to give a shout out to Rupert Friend, who has what's essentially a cameo, but he knocks it out of the park. And I've never seen Rupert Friend play a role like this, so it was really fun. Linda Cardellini and Jean Smart also do nice, but unfortunately quick work. And Bashir Salahuddin makes a strong impression with what he's given. He's actually from Glow, where he also does a good job, and he's working his way up. He had a couple more lines this time around. Good for him. And again, it's worth noting these days, as I said, television is so popular that people often say, well, maybe this should have been a television show, right? Movies, now it's up to movies to prove that they shouldn't have gone, the small screen route. And I would say, thanks to very slick production values, the house, all the locations I thought were really picturesque, and Kendrick's dynamic performance, this does still seem very much like a genuine movie. So is it one you should see, though? I'd say yes. Just remember that it's a trashy, guilty pleasure. And, you can see it as a matinee, as I did. I thought that it made for a fabulous matinee, actually, or on a plane, or in a hotel, or all cozy on a sofa or in your bed, right? That's what kind of movie this is. Also, it's apparently the movie was pitched as Gone Girl meets Girl on the Train. And I can see where they're coming from there. And I'd say it's in the middle between those two. And, I think you'll have to figure out for yourself exactly where in between those two it falls. But with a better director and a better actress opposite Kendrick, Lively's fine, by the way. I think she did a perfectly serviceable job. And again, as I said, I think she was very well cast. But she's no, say, Angelina Jolie in her prime, who would have killed in this role and made it something that people are talking about this movie, but more because I think Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick are both just so fun as celebrity personas. But Angelina Jolie would have it's not like Original Sin Angelina Jolie. Think like Girl Interrupted Angelina Jolie. If she had I think with the right director who could have steered, again, it's not only the actress, but also the director. So if you had a better director and, again, a better actress, and that director could steer that better actress to give the performance that she should for this role, well, then I think maybe we would have gotten something on the level of Gone Girl fully, or A Place in the Sun. Basically, you should watch A Place in the Sun, and really all of George Stevens' movies. He's not one of the more famous directors over time, but he should be. He's incredibly talented. And Giant, by the way, is my personal favorite, even at over 3 hours long. It's really long, but it doesn't feel that way, and it's just absolutely sensational. So that's my review of A Simple Favor. I'm curious to hear your own thoughts down below. Again, there are a lot of twists and turns in this movie, so you have a spoiler comment, be sure to mark it as such. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.